Good morning, class. Today we'll be discussing the foundational court case of Robinson versus California, which took place in 1962. The main issue this case presents is whether addiction should be criminalized or not. Our story begins on a sunny day in California. Our main character, Lawrence Robinson, was pulled over in the passenger seat of a car. When the Los Angeles police officers looked at his arms, they saw signs of former drug use. With this in mind, they decided to place him under arrest based on that fact alone. What seems to be the problem, officer?
Have you been using drugs recently?
No.
I'm gonna have to get out of the car.
LA. Okay. I need a coffee break too. Although Robinson possessed no drugs at the site of his arrest, a state prosecutor filed a misdemeanor charge against him under the statute that criminalized addiction without the use or possession of drugs required. Following his arrest, Robinson had a jury trial in an LA court. The officers at the trial testified about the condition of Robinson's arms and the scabs present that are consistent with previous drug use. In addition to this, Robinson also confessed to using drugs 8 days prior to his arrest, although he was not high or under the influence of narcotics at the time. Robinson was then convicted to 90 days in jail and to a 2-year probation sentence.
My baby, you're my baby, say it to me.
Robinson then appealed to the California Superior Court, who reinstated his conviction. He then asked for review by the United States Supreme Court, who decided in a 6-2 decision by Justice Potter Stewart that imprisoning people based on addiction to narcotics fell under cruel and unusual punishment and violated the 8th and 14th Amendments. Chief Justice on the case, Earl Warren, sided with the majority opinion that detaining people based on narcotic addiction alone fell under cruel and unusual punishment and violated the 8th and 14th Amendment. Associate Justice Hugo Black also sided with the majority opinion on the case. Associate Justice William O. Douglas also sided with the majority opinion. Associate Justice John M. Harlan also sided with the majority opinion. Associate Justice William Brennan Jr. sided with the majority opinion. Associate Justice Potter Stewart sided with the majority opinion. Associate Justice Tom C. Clark sided with the dissenting opinion, which stated that it is constitutional to detain people based on addiction alone. Associate Justice Byron White also sided with the dissenting opinion. In conclusion, the court ruled that the statute, which made being addicted to narcotics a criminal offense, unconstitutional and a cruel and unusual punishment. It also violated the 8th and 14th Amendment. Now we'll be getting a second opinion from a special guest and intellectual, Maya Chavez. Maya Chavez, can you weigh in on the topic of people being detained based on addiction to narcotics alone?
I believe that drug addiction is a mental illness and it should be treated as such. Sending addicts to prison is immoral, and they should be able to receive treatment at a government-funded rehab facility instead of being sent to prison where they may relapse. I agree with the court's ruling that it is unconstitutional to imprison citizens based solely off an addiction.
Thank you for your opinion. I think many would agree with you.
Thank you.
Based on a statistic from oxfordtreatment.com, only 11% of people who have been incarcerated with an addiction have been treated, while 89% did not receive treatment for the addiction. According to bedrockrecoverycenter.com, over 20 million people over the age of 12 had a substance use disorder in 2018. 9.2 million people over 18 had a substance use disorder and mental illness resulting from it. 17% of people with drug addictions had suicidal thoughts in 2019 alone. This topic begs the very controversial question of whether or not addicts should be punished. Personally, I do not believe that addicts should be punished, because addiction can get out of hand very fast. I believe that addicts should be able to find the road to recovery, and the government should be helping them with treatment facilities and programs instead of imprisoning them and clogging up the prison system, which is already very overwhelmed. I believe that addiction is not a crime, and having personal experience with many addicts in my family, I know for a fact that if they were in prison right now, they would not have become the functioning members of society that they are today. I believe everyone should be given a second chance, and we shouldn't judge someone based on their addictions. We should try and get help for them instead of imprisoning them. The decision based on the Robinson versus California case helped eliminate crimes based on status and also set a precedent for future crimes based on addiction. Now I pass the question off to you. Do you think incarceration helps addicts, or do you think rehabilitation and treatment helps addicts? What would your decision be in this court case, and do you think the ruling was justified?